Hey everybody, and welcome to episode 2 of the Hapori Podcast. I'm Bionic Kasai, formerly known as Bionic Sonic.
I'm ThatchMac.
I'm Toa Okoto.
I'm Vanu.
And I'm Toa Niretta.
All right, how's everybody doing?
Horrible.
Pretty good.
Good.
Well, hopefully this podcast lifts your spirits.
I'm sitting here for half an hour waiting for certain someone. ThatchMac.
Now, let's not point any fingers.
He did.
It's a call, so we can't point fingers.
Well,
That's very true.
true.
So,
For the viewers, for the lovely viewers at home, Toa Okoto just turned on his webcam and pointed at me. So.
I
was great.
pointed at my webcam, so yeah.
All right, well,
Hey,
that's good. But I can, tell you, you can go frig off right now, buddy.
well,
So. All right.
now that we're on episode 2, we should probably state what our policy is for members. So last podcast we had all the members, all 8 members, on, so you could get to know us, hear us talk a little bit, meet everyone, yeah. But from now on, it's going to be minimum 3 members, maximum 5 members, just to keep things neat and orderly.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
So,
it's pretty.
We
And
get
also-
to the, topics.
Yeah, well, we also are doing it like that so that nobody gets, drowned out and doesn't get any time to talk. And as you can already see, everybody's been talking this podcast, so it's been great. But yeah, let's get into the segments, community stuff. Hey guys, so the podcast stopped recording right here, and it cut out a little bit. Also, my microphone gets pretty bad during this podcast. Like, I start laughing and it starts going a little crazy. I apologize for that. Nothing I can really do about it. My microphone's always been weird when I record it. But anyway, so in this segment, it cut out the point where I say that now we're getting into community spotlight, and basically we talk about Modalt Masks and how I ordered a chameleon head from him. And I talk about going onto the website and how you actually do it, or start a commission. You go onto his website, Modalt Masks. I don't know what it's called, but just Google his website, and Google Modalt Masks, and you go to his website, and you can go to, like, make a commission or something, and then you type in your email, and you said what you want, and then it cut out right there, so I just want to give you guys that information. All right, thanks. For a second. Anyway, but basically, so you got to put your email in there. Man, I hope I didn't miss a whole bunch. But you got to put your email in there, and he gets the email, and you say, I want whatever, I want a blue Miru or something like that, and then he paints it, and he emails you, and you can talk about it. And because this head isn't just as simple as you see this mask you made a little bit ago, just remake that. I know that happens a lot, like, if you want the skull mask with the teeth or something, you just say, I want a skull mask with the teeth that you made. But because it was Chameleo's head, there's so much more development that goes into it, like I need some pictures of the original, and then he sent his prototype version of it, which didn't have any of the extra details and looked a little bit different. And so basically, after that, what I did is I sent a sketch that I made of what Camilo said with more details and stuff, and he pretty much 100% replicated my sketch, down to the point where the writing he used for 04 looks almost exactly like my handwriting. Yeah, it was pretty awesome. Like, the way I did it is I drew the 4 like that, and I put the line through this. It's crazy how he did that, but it looks fantastic. And the whole time... Yeah, sorry.
It came out beautifully.
And the whole time, though, like, he's really busy, so there were, of course, gaps when we were talking, but that's completely understandable. But the whole time, he was incredibly nice to work with. The dude is, like, super chill. He's a really good guy. And there was at some point when I was asking for the more details, or I was doing the sketch, I was like, did you do it? Because he does 3 tiers. He does basic detail, advanced detail, and then the conversions, which require, like, cutting stuff and gluing stuff. We were just doing a basic detail one for Chameleon, but when I added these details, I was like, hey, I'm willing to pay more if this requires that, if this is a more detailed one. And he said, no, it's completely fine. You can still be using the old version. So he's really cool to work with.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. I actually asked him to paint a Rakshi head for me a while back, like last year at Brick Fair. And he was really cool about it. And I even offered, like, hey, could you paint this particular Rakshi head for me? And he insisted on using one of his own.
Wow. That's awesome.
Well, I would.
Cool. But
yeah,
looking at, go ahead, Manu.
Okay, I was gonna say, but the Camelio head definitely looks really good, and I really like how the shading kind of makes it
Oh,
look
yeah.
like, the plates are just, laid on top of each other.
Yeah, it looks awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like looking at some of his other stuff though, like that rainbow mask is funny.
That's his newest one.
Like a Jamaican Picari.
What?
Yeah. I love the skull mask with the teeth.
Yeah,
I like the fusion mask. That one's pretty cool. The
Yeah,
Toa is
those are like his more advanced ones.
I'm definitely going to be ordering a skull mask with the teeth at some point for like as soon as I can because I need that in my life.
You got to do a review on it at some point.
Yeah, well, here's what I thought. So since I've been doing these reviews for the channel, which will probably be up when these podcasts are coming up, I'm going to need to review Camelio again. And I was like, oh man, a third Camelio review. But then I realized, wait, he's going to have his new head now. So, yeah.
Yeah.
That'll be pretty cool to watch.
Yeah. And the way I'm going to work, I wanted to clarify this real quick with my videos. Because Camille's got a new head, how am I going to put that in the video? There's not going to be really much of an explanation. His head, in episode 3, I'm still filming it. It isn't going to switch to the new one. It's going to be the old one. And then in episode 4, or probably in 3.5 or something like that, the next episode of Fodden, basically, he'll have the new one, and I'm not going to explain it or anything. It's basically, you're supposed to assume he's always had that head.
Yeah.
But,
Cool.
yeah.
The white Ignika head one.
Oh,
Or
yeah, the
a
one with
Nike
like
head
the
one?
Digi-face on it.
Yeah.
It just makes me think of like an evil Camelio.
Yeah. And Yeah, I know. That is what made me go, oh yeah, he can do a Camelio head. When I saw that, I was kind of like, okay, if he can do that, he can do a Camelio head.
Yeah, definitely.
I think I saw his progress, like that picture of Camellia's head down there before you got the details on it. I think I actually saw that before I even met you guys.
Oh, cool. You're like, what the heck is that?
Yeah, I just looked at him like, oh, okay, it looks cool. All right.
Small world.
Yep. But for a small community.
Well, yeah.
But
should we get on to the Cyber Hand?
Yeah. Anyone want to say anything else about Modalt before we move on?
Buy his masks now.
Buy some.
Yeah, I need
Support
more.
him.
I definitely need more.
Oh wow.
All right, so
he did those.
on to
No.
Cyber Hand.
These are Cyber Hands. This is his current project.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
that's
Cyber Hand's the guy
One of
who
his
made
current projects.
the really good G2 Mask of Time, the Mask of Ultimate Power, and the prototype POW. And now he's making a G2 Evoki, which is going to be awesome.
That looks epic.
And yeah, there will be images, of course, in the video showing what he's got so far, and also sketches of hopefully what he can do. But do you want to take the lead on this one and explain everything?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, he said this. He said a while ago that he was going to be starting one, and then he disappeared for like 2 months, and everything I could have hoped for, because I had made a mention when he first brought it up, on a reply to him, and I was like, "Do you think you could include some runes? Because I want to include the Mask of Light in Chronicles of Darkness at some point, and for it to have the runes would be perfect for like a mask maker mask. So this thing has like all the intricacy, and I know it's not even finished, but it's great.
Yeah. I think he said this, and also if you look in it, there's one of the eyes has a connection, one of them doesn't. That's because he's testing out different looks for the eyes. So it's in the official one, it's going to be symmetrical. But this is really cool. He mentioned that like the top half wasn't finished, and I think we can all agree the top part of it, like the 3 spikes, is the weakest part. And he said it was. Yeah, and so that's what all those sketches are for, is kind of different ideas, and pretty much any one of those sketches I think I would love on it.
Yeah.
Besides the one without the top half.
Yep. I think this is so cool because he's doing a G2 Takanuva mask, but Takanuva's mask works so perfectly with not having to do a Uniter or Master because he's already got like spikes on the back.
Yeah.
So I think that's a really good way that just worked out like that.
Yeah.
And like,
Yeah.
I could easily see this Mask of Light being used on like evil characters too. Like, it doesn't seem too
Just
good.
different colors.
Yeah.
You know what I just realized? I know he doesn't need to do this, and he probably won't. But Takanuva has like a non-canon Nuva symbol.
Really?
But he was like in a game, and if he could include that on the mask somewhere, like
Oh,
that would be so cool.
Oh yeah, that
That
would
would
be.
be pretty awesome.
Like maybe if he flattened out that top bit on the forehead and maybe put it there.
Yeah, or put it where
I
the
think he is considering putting a mold mark sort of detail.
Or it's just like gonna be. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say like maybe, like that circle on the forehead that most of the masks have in G2. Maybe he could have that, and then have the Nuva symbol within that.
Here's what I'm thinking. I think that could look a little weird, and so I think if I were him, I would just change the symbols on the side of his face to just include the non-canon Nuva symbol. That's what I would do. Because like that's like the Uniters they're not all on their forehead. They're in like different locations.
Yeah.
Right.
But, I am so excited to own this mask because I think it's going to work perfectly for spoilers to Karu.
Yeah, it's gonna be beautiful.
Uh,
dang.
I knew it.
Do it.
No,
Yeah.
I said I knew it.
Oh,
which does kind of parallel the next thing we're going to be talking about, but Takeru is kind of going to mirror Takua.
next thing actually doesn't parallel because next thing is mock section.
Well, later in the thing, I forgot.
Foreshadowing. We're gonna review Mask of Light. All right, guys. So, Toa Okoto, do you want just in the background you hear subtle Takua? But Toa Okoto, you want to post pictures of Nigel's tank?
Yeah, sure. Are we talking about Mocs or the movie?
Mocs.
The mock. We're talking about Nigel's tank.
Okay.
Unless there's a movie about Nigel's tank.
That would be beautiful.
Nigel's tank, the movie.
Actually, it kind of already is with his song.
Oh, yes,
What's his theme song, Toa Okoto?
Pimp My Ride.
Oh dear.
Don't search it up, kiddies. Seriously,
Yes.
don't.
But yeah, I really like this thing because it totally fits Nigel.
Yeah.
But you want to talk about it?
Yeah. So, just a quick disclaimer. People are like, ew, what is this garbage? Well, it's supposed to look trashy. You can tell by the little midget you guys see, whatever picture Thatch puts up in the video. That's Nigel, other than the other two G1 sets. But that's Nigel. He's kind of like a blacksmith of sorts, and he creates a lot of things. He's made a little teleporter called the Teletron V1, and so on. And so he made this tank and such, which will be in the season 1 finale, House Legacy. That's why I made it, and he'll be using it after season 1. I'm planning to use it, and he's kind of like looking. He looks all around for like Lego pieces and scraps and such. So he built up this vehicle, and then it took me a couple hours to make it. I made it the other day, so I don't have to later on make this because I'm like halfway through season 1, and I just want to get some, things I want to build for the rest of season 1 out of the way, so I don't have to worry about doing it later. So I built Nigel's tank. I don't have an official name for it. I'm just calling it Nigel's tank for now. I wanted to make a kind of reference to Mad Max because that's the kind of idea I got. But yeah,
Toa Okoto, you said you didn't have a name? You gotta call it the Nigelinator.
The Nigel Mobile.
The Nigelinator 3000.
that
The
should be
Nigelator.
that should be the episode name.
And then his home is just gonna be called the Nigel Cave, and it's just gonna be a Batman theme.
Yeah, I'm planning,
Oh my.
I'm planning to have Nigel move after season 1 because I think that closet when I filmed there was like a little too cramped. But he's been there for a while, and plus I'll just say this: he doesn't build the tank in there. He builds it in an open secret place. I'll say.
All right. Well, you are on recording, so this isn't personal chat, so don't spoil anything.
Yeah, I know. I'm just
All
saying that anyway. Just
Yeah.
it will be showing how he gets this thing all ready up. But really excited to put in the series. I tested it outside, and it rides on grass very well, probably because of the wheel pieces. but you know, I've been wanting to make a big mark for like you see one of the pictures. You have some G1 characters in the back, and they fit well. What kind of well, but like bigger characters, like I would say like Tahu Master, he can fit back there, just kind of like squeezed up a little bit. But like I said, this vehicle is made for like smaller, Bionicle characters, and Nigel made it for his size. So yeah, that's pretty much all I can say about it.
I really like it. I like how it is definitely big and it looks really tanky and awesome. So I really like that about it. And I don't know, like just the way I like the way you did the two different colored panels on the side, and I don't know, it looks like a big beefy tank thing. So how tall is it like compared to like Tahu Master?
Oh, I have not done measurements. I don't have Tahu Master around me right now. But let me get Nigel. Nigel has the pretty much same exact build from the 2007 Matoran Marhi, and it's a little bit taller than him.
All right.
So Nigel is basically 2007 good guy.
Yep.
Yeah, not exactly, but but he may look.
But yeah, I love this thing. It has like a lot of charm to it, and it's really cool.
Yeah, it's got like around like 4 things that shoot like guns and weapons. You see guys here, spear in the front, and the 2 spring-loaded shooters, and you got 2 of the front guns in the front. I really want to make like kind of a bumper in the front of it, but I decided to keep it flat just because. I may add things to in the future. Like I may add swords to the front of it, so like he can stab the things. That's what I said. I really want to make it Mad Max like or something like that. So,
yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right. Well, want to go over the next mock now?
Yeah, sure.
I mean, unless you guys want to keep talking, I don't mean whatever you guys.
Yeah,
say.
I mean, if anyone has anything left to say about Nigel's thing.
Well, what I was gonna say was that I liked how, as beefy as it looks, it still looks like it was made like from like it actually looks like it's been made out of like a ton of made out of garbage.
Yeah, like scrap.
As Okoto would say. So
Or
it's like
as
Gearbage.
Okoto would say, trash.
Yeah. I mean, it not only looks beefy, but it like just despite the fact that it looks like trash on wheels, it's also really, really beefy.
Yeah.
Like it looks like a junkyard just, put wheels like under itself and it just started rolling away, but but it looks like a tank at the same time.
It's a moving junkyard, what Vanu's trying to say.
Basically.
Mobile trash.
It's Nigel's mobile base.
Yeah, kind of. I mean,
where we deliver used parts to you.
Oh, I actually do that all the time.
That's where all the line parts are going.
You should make like a license plate that says it.
Oh, Thatch, should I send you a picture of like the like little seat Nigel sits in? Nigel has a little seat. Too.
Sure, I can include that in the video thing.
Now, but yeah.
Cool.
Yep. Pretty much it.
All right. Who's next?
You are.
Ah, sweet. Okay. This is a character I'm super excited about. He makes a bit of a cameo appearance in Chronicles of Darkness episode 4, and his name is Roach.
Ooh.
Oh yeah. Hey,
Yeah,
wait a minute. I saw this guy on DeviantArt.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so he's in multiple dimensions for this multiverse story, but for the Chronicles of Darkness story, he's a bounty hunter from the Dark Brotherhood, and he's the best of the best. He's like how to put it? He's the best of the bounty hunters. And so in episode 4, Drovix comes to the Dark Brotherhood, and the people in there are like these really terrible bounty hunters who can't get any jobs. so they just hang out. And then Roach is sitting there, and he's sitting there because he's so good that like everyone wants to come to him for work, but all the other bounty hunters jump in the way because they want the jobs for themselves. But so Drovix walks in there and he's asking for business, and then Roach just smashes Croza's head and then kills everyone in the room.
Drastic, but okay.
Yeah, Roach is a
But,
boss.
Yeah, so there's Roach. I'll get a few more pictures.
All right. And one of the coolest parts about Roach is somehow, I don't know how this came about, but he developed into something really cool. And so, because I briefly mentioned he's in multiple dimensions, and the idea is that like every universe has a version of Roach. And they're all like bounty hunters and stuff, but that's super cool because it makes him like this character that almost anybody can build and stuff. That's yet to be seen in a series significantly, but yeah.
Yeah.
It's one of the coolest parts. And he's a really cool character, so it's awesome that he's a big thing.
Yeah, I do. I love him a lot. I think he's probably one of my best Mocs, or at least my best characters.
Those guns are pretty cool too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just,
It's,
Wait, so
he's got a pretty sweet arsenal.
Fun fact, his guns are made by the made Chameleo's original guns.
I was gonna ask. Oh.
Yep, same
Yeah.
company.
They are all made by Harmonix, or by the Harmonix Plasma Corporation, which is headed by Lazarus, which we showcased in the last podcast.
Oh,
So,
right, I remember him.
one thing that I I feel like it's just gonna be like the fact that he's in multiple different dimensions is gonna be like he's just that one villain that torments everyone, no matter like what series it is. You're just gonna see this guy anyway.
Yeah.
Just everywhere.
I plans to put him in pretty much every single Fodder arc from now on. But it's a different version of him. Like, no spoilers, but I might be doing a Western themed arc, which means there's going to be a
Ooh.
Western themed Roach. And he's going to
yes.
kind of be like, you know how there's always like a gang in like Westerns, and they're like, I don't know, like the what do they call them? I don't know, like the wild gang or whatever, and then they always like own the town or whatever. Like the bad guys or whatever. There's always like this gang or whatever, and he's going to kind of be the head of that gang.
Yeah,
Like
I-
cattle rustlers.
that's maybe-
Yeah, like you know,
Outlaws.
yeah, like the outlaws that like the hero comes in and they're like, we own this town or whatever, and then the hero beats him up or something. He's gonna be that guy.
Gotta have showdown. Pew, pew.
It's still gonna be like a bounty
Pretty
hunter though.
cool.
Yeah, it's gonna be
Um,
cool.
What would be funny would be if you make it so that instead of having the these high tech pistols, he actually has like the Harmonix Corporation's like older model of pistol.
I guess like an alternate universe version of Harmonix, but they're set like with old revolvers. That'd be cool.
Oh,
I would
could be like
just
say it would be-
steampunk.
I would just make it a different company and have it be the company that made Chameleo's revolver.
I don't know if I want to tie everything like that together, but they're definitely all gonna be. Everyone's gonna have
Like-
revolvers in that arc. Everybody's gonna
I
have
would say more
revolvers.
Western type guns like Conan's rifle and Chameleo's revolver.
Everyone's gonna have a revolver, which is gonna be cool. But yeah, the Mock itself is really cool. He's just like got such a unique look, and he's just so cool because like he's got the cybernetic arm, right, and he's kind of got like the green transparent stuff, and the whole alternate universe thing. This is the perfect character because like each version can have different cybernetic limbs. Each version can have a slightly different color, and each version's cape can be slightly different. Like he's just such a good Mock, and he's so like you can build off of him. I really like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Um,
basically just the design in general is like very versatile, and just about anyone can make their own different version with slight changes.
Yep, exactly. He's a great character.
And he's got cool details. Like I love his belt.
Yeah, me too. I was just about to say the belt.
Oh yeah, that's a nice touch.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like him a lot. He's probably gonna be one of my favorite Chronicles of Darkness characters in this season, definitely.
Oh my gosh. So Camelio like lost his gun, right? He should steal one of Roach's guns to get it back.
He's got like an arsenal, so yeah.
That'd be cool.
It's like, yeah, somebody stole my gun. Where'd it go? Oh well, I got 10 others.
Yep.
No matter. I have an entire wardrobe full of the things anyway.
Yeah. He just like every day wakes up and he's like, where are these gosh darn guns going? And just Camellia was always like stealing in the middle of the night because he's always losing them.
That's great.
And then Camellia was just, like walking away from, I don't know, Roach's place, and he's like, the advantages of being an interdimensional police officer.
Yep.
Toa Okoto,
Huh?
you have anything to add?
I like it a lot. I like how he uses the same gun as Camellia. I was going to ask about that. It's really cool how it makes the worlds more connected with each other like that, which is really cool. I do like his arm. Like, did he get his arm chopped off before and has like a replacement one?
I imagine it happened like when he was starting out, when he was a little more reckless.
That would make more sense.
Yeah.
I like how he uses the Stormer helmet. Stormer helmet, or not mask, but
Face.
face. I really do like the build overall of it. It's really cool. It's like it gives me like an evil Camellia look.
It does.
Yeah,
Wow.
that was kind of the inspiration, especially with like his forearms.
Yeah, I would love to see a showdown between these two.
Ooh, yeah.
Oh,
And
this
I can't wait to see him fight against Kasai too.
They even got the same armor placed.
Yeah.
yeah, his
Oh,
legs
yeah.
are like identical. Jeez.
Holy crap! I didn't realize that.
Wow.
Yeah, with the exception of the year 1 HF feat. I mean, like, with the exception of, his lack of year 1 HF feat, the legs are pretty spot on as far
Yeah.
as I can tell.
Yeah.
And the Borat guys.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's like
But,
his assault rifle too, which also looks really cool, and I like the use of the Borok Technic piece.
That assault rifle is just a genius design. It looks so great, and in a great use of that part. It's really awesome. I wish I would have thought of that.
Yeah,
I've got a few more guns I can show.
Oh.
Kasai,
Yeah?
you wouldn't mind if I, borrowed that design. Would
It's okay. So this next one's more of like a Spartan laser type
Oh.
of gun.
It's even got the laser.
Oh.
Those of you who know Halo.
Oh my
Yes.
gosh,
That's awesome.
that is.
Yeah, it's more heavy.
Like, that is awesome. It actually even looks like the gun. Wow.
I'm a firing my laser.
Yeah.
Looks like a bazooka. Jesus.
Yeah, that was
Like there should just be, if now what would probably make Roach even more of a terrifying character would be if he actually held a bazooka. Like he just like if he had it mounted on his shoulder, but he didn't even bother using like two hands to fire it, but he just used one.
Well,
He just, like, put
Well,
up the fire shit.
I would love if he just like dropped down into a room with the bazooka on his arm and then just like fired it and just like spun around and like sliced everybody in half.
Yeah. And then here's his. He has this melee weapon too, which is sort of like a baton type of lightsaber sort of thing.
Ooh, that looks lethal.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I
Kill
really want to build my
Atrocity.
own. I really want to build my own version of Roach now. Like
Totally.
I really do.
Ooh.
But yeah, I really wanted to emphasize that he is the best at I can't say the best, but like at least for the Dark Hunters, he's the best at hand to hand and long range combat.
He's a walking arsenal.
Yeah, he's prepared for anything. He's like Batman. Kill you.
Or like Arsenal. There's a character named Arsenal. So.
Guess so. But so yeah, there's Roach.
Sweet. Vanu, you want to post yours?
Yeah. So I'm gonna. Thatch will probably will throw pictures up. When the podcast is uploaded. But here's Yildraz. Makuta Yildraz.
Oh.
He basically is like he's basically a Makuta. I don't have the story details, fully fleshed out yet, but he's basically supposed to act as like a second in command to the Brotherhood of Makuta.
Dang.
And
He looks
Is-
like Shockwave.
yeah, that was basically the inspiration. I was just like, okay. I watched TF Prime a lot at that, like before, like around a little bit before I, decided to build him. I had been watching a lot of TF Prime, and then I was just like thinking to myself, hey, I need to make a Shockwave mock, and he needs to be a Makuta, and it's just gonna be really cool.
Yeah, he's
And-
got a
It's really cool.
he's got a really like.
And that,
Sorry.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say he's got a really cool like presence to him, very kingly and confident.
Yeah.
yeah, but what's actually interesting is that he isn't like royalty at all, but he's just like he's just meant like he really just has a cloak just for the sake of intimidation. He
Yeah, because looks are
like-
intimidating.
Wait,
he knows how to play with others' emotions when it comes to the art of combat. He'll use whatever he can to
Wait.
throw his opponents off.
Everybody, just hold on a friggin' second.
I know what you're gonna ask.
Is that a purple laser sword?
I was thinking the same thing.
What is this sorcery?
Yes,
How
I
did you
did
get that?
paint it. I
Oh.
am
How
by
did-
no means a purist
How is it transparent?
because I just sharpied it.
Oh,
Wow.
I
How
like
does
purple-
that still
use
stay
purple Sharpie?
transparent?
Looks
Yeah,
amazing.
I
It
bas-
looks-
I
it
took
looks
a
so good.
violet Sharpie and I just, completely colored it.
Wow, that's cool.
But that looks so good. It looks too real.
Yeah, it looks creepy.
Painted or colored.
If
Wow.
you saw it in person, it would look a bit like a mess, but but it worked for what I want it to look for, the look that I want it to get across. It gets the job done.
Yeah.
It's
Looks
awesome.
I
great.
say so.
Yes.
That's-
So, like in my story, he's supposed to be like a mentor, or rather, he's tasked with being a mentor to Makuta Kralos,
Mhm.
who I'll probably, introduce later on in another podcast episode, maybe.
There might
he's
also be
supposed-
a mock review, so someone will come out of there.
Oh, maybe.
What was that?
so he's like he was tasked with mentoring Makuta Kralos, but unwillingly, because it's just he's just tasked with teaching a psychopath, and he just has no patience with tedious tasks. Like he just kind of has the mentality of, well, there are literally 100 things. There are literally 100 better things I can do than teach this idiot.
This scrub.
Scrub board.
Yeah. So it's kind of apparent that that both Kralos and Yoldraz just don't like each other.
I don't think Kralos likes anybody.
Yeah, he actually doesn't. But there probably
to
are
change that.
going to be there probably are exceptions, but
Yeah.
like very few though. But
Hashtag this is a bully confirmed.
Ooh, I'm gonna
far from like that's an understatement, man.
He
Like,
is
he's-
the ultimate bully.
The ultimate, yeah.
He's a psychopath. He's a murderer. He's a torturer. He's
So- Bad guy
He-
in general.
he's a heretic. Maybe not that one, but
A heretic? Jeez. He's a blasphemer!
Oh my.
He blasts your femurs? Ow.
No, yeah.
blasphemy.
But yeah, I love this guy. I think he looks awesome.
What color is his
Uh,
mask? I can't move. What kind of mask does he use? I can't really see it.
Custom head.
Okay. Because I can't get a good look just because if I move my mouse, the recording is just going to
Yeah.
stop.
Yeah, it's a CCBS shell with some Technic bits, and he's got like a round like mono eye.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's like one of those little discs.
One eye kinda
liquid
guy.
discs.
Yep. I mean, that's basically just like it's almost an exact duplicate, if I do say so myself. It's
That is
quite
fine.
accurate to TF Prime Shockwave, and I'm really proud of myself.
Cool.
Well, maybe a bit
Cool.
skinnier than him, but other than that, yeah.
I mean, like the head alone. I mean, but
No, but
I know
yeah.
that the rest of the mock is quite skinny, like to be called a Shockwave duplicate, but
Mhm.
the head I'm really proud of. It was not easy. I had to cut quite a few pieces.
Yeah. I know how you
Okay,
feel.
I do it.
It's almost torture, but the end result was just beautiful.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Patting
nice job.
myself back a bit too much, but
Good
Thank
job.
you.
All right.
Thank you.
Well, that's awesome, dude. Now, you guys want to do the thing we've been hyping up the whole podcast?
Oh,
Let's
yeah.
talk about Takua.
Takua!
The Mask of Light and more in general.
Let's take a closer look behind
specific.
the
Mask.
this
Behind the mask of light.
Let's take a closer look behind that script.
Oh, dear.
God.
Let's
This
take
is
a
so
look.
dumb.
Let's take a better look behind that bully.
Film. Just say film.
Film.
Let's just
Better look
let's
behind
just
the
talk
film.
about Mask of Light.
All right, cool. So we've all seen it pretty recently, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched it. I watched it earlier in the week, and then I watched it again this morning.
All right.
Yeah, I watched it earlier in the week.
Well, if you don't mind, I kind of want to explode out here because I've been holding a lot of this in for a few days, and I've got a lot to say.
Okay.
So,
Got it.
all right, good. Ready.
No.
So So I rewatched this movie a little bit ago. Like I don't know, I'd be like on Monday or something. I rewatched the movie, right? And I knew I hadn't seen it for a few years, and I knew it wasn't going to be good. So I got in there and I was ready. I do like the music and I have some nostalgia for the movies, but I kind of wasn't expecting too much. And at first, I was actually very pleasantly surprised with it, and I was going along with this thing throughout most of the movie. I liked most of the voice actors. There were some cool sequences, especially that Tahu sequence at the beginning was pretty awesome. The music was really good. I get really hyped with the Vakama introduction when he's just like, what does he say? Oh, he's like, he said Makuta was free to unleash his shadows and unleashed them. He did. And it gets so hyped every single time. Goosebumps, right?
You do a terrible job at it, though.
I know. I know I do a terrible job at it. But that is awesome. So I was into it pretty much the whole movie. Even Lewa's voice was growing on me, right?
Yeah, I actually liked it more than I thought it was really bad
Yeah.
before. It's kind of grown on me throughout the years, but it's meh.
Then I got to the ending, and
Oh, boy.
this is where everything fell apart for me. So
That's favorite part of the movie, everyone.
no, it's not. So basically, what ends up happening is Takua puts on the Mask of Light for some reason, and he turns into Takanuva, right? And he's got a deeper voice and stuff. And they fight Rakshi and stuff, and then somehow Jala dies, and then
He died before that.
oh, he did? Okay, well, Jala's
Yeah.
dead. Oh, yeah, because that's what made him put on the mask. So Jala's dead,
Yeah.
and he fights, and then he builds a vehicle out of the dead Rakshi bodies, and it's kind of weird, but whatever. It feels like a good ending. And then all of a sudden, there's another ending after that, and he goes into the cave, and he meets Makuta, and then it lost me, and I have no idea what happened. They were
They
playing...
had a Coley match.
They started playing Coley for some reason. Then all of a sudden...
I'm playing catch.
Holly somehow fit into the vehicle. Everybody decided for some reason to just up and go into Makuta's lair for some reason. They all just decide to do that, and they're fighting, and then they fall into a pit of I think it's protodermis, and then and then he merges with Makuta, and then it's Takanuva. It's why is this happening? Why did they merge? It's really disturbing, and the music's all scary.
It's a very awkward merge too.
And then he turns into a good guy, and he opens the door to somewhere, and then it crushes him, and his mask falls off, but it's not half of the mask, it's the complete Mask of Light for some reason. And then he's dead, and then he brought back, his last thing was he brought back Jala, right? And then
Yeah.
Jala, no, that somebody brings him back to life. So now everyone's dying and coming back, and then stand on these pillars and all these lights glowing on them, and I don't know what's happening. And then they I think they awaken Matanui, And then, like, all of a sudden, like, it just sort of ends, and I'm like, I have no idea what happened.
I think in the end it rediscovered Metro Nui, but it just kind of showed that brief little, like, a light going out symbolically that they found it through Takanuva, because he's the one that found it, but it didn't show the actual process of finding it.
It was so weird. It was so unclear. It was so, like, what's the word? Like,
Okay, so
abstract.
Rush.
So, well, I mean, it was an entire year's worth of story put into a movie. But so what you were saying with like the Rakshi battle and like Takua putting on the mask. So Jala sacrifices himself to save Takua because he knows that the mask chose him. And then Takua is like, oh well, yeah, mask chose me, so maybe I should like put it on because I'm probably special.
Well, he's holding his friend's final wish, basically.
Yeah. He's like, Jala was like, you know what to do, and then so Jala dies. Which did Jala die in canon?
Yeah, I thought he did.
I think so, yeah.
He even like took off his mask, which is Lee Khan's mask too, which is even weirder when you think about it.
Oh, it's just like the Mask of Death now.
Oh, this was a plot hole. So he like dies, and they take his mask and they put it into the thing, and they go underground, right? And then when they bring him back to life, his body reforms around it. So is there like a dead Jala body like above the ground or something like that?
I don't know. I think my theory is that they just kind of dissipate after a while.
That was so weird. Like now I'm just imagining a weird dead Jala body.
I think maybe what would be a more pleasant theory would be like he somehow transported his body there
What?
and then gave it life, which doesn't make sense because how can light and shadow make life?
I don't know.
Yeah,
You're
You're just supposed to go with it.
Just go with it.
I really feel like Jala didn't die in canon though.
yeah. I mean, I feel like they brought him back to life in the movie just because of the the ignition storyline.
No,
Well, I don't think they were gonna.
that point.
I don't think they knew they were gonna do that at that point. Like they were just going to
That's
Metro
why
Nui.
the movie ends so weird with like finding Metro Nui because they
Yeah,
didn't know that there was more.
Yeah, they kind of. Well, I think what happened is halfway in the movie's development, like they thought it was going to be the last year Bionicle, and then like they changed their mind, and I think that kind of hurt the ending
Yeah.
Maybe.
because like wasn't it like they do awaken Machnui, but then he's like tired or he's like I don't know.
He needs restoration, basically.
He's pooped.
Like, he's awake, but he just needs his coffee.
He's pooped from a bajillion years of sleeping. It's worn him out.
Well, I mean, if you were in a coma for a few thousand years, it'd probably kill you too.
It was
And
so
you
weird.
need a cup of coffee.
But anyway, I guess those are my.
Mask of life.
I guess those are my
Yeah.
thoughts.
Go ahead, Okoto.
Now, I noticed that both Generation 1 and Generation 2 both had like the 1,000 years thing, like when the Shadow Realm was opened, like it's been thousands of years since the pieces of the Ultimate Mask have been together, and then Matanui waking after a couple thousands of years, and then Ikimu. I did not, I was kind of like, sorry if it's getting kind of off topic, but I was really surprised that they awakened Kimu so early on in G2 if it was going to go on longer.
I like that. It was a cool way to go in a different direction. It was like no. Yeah, I like that.
Because I did not think we would get him for the summer sets that year, and they're like, oh, we're probably gonna get like him the last year or something. But
Yeah,
no,
me
we
too.
got 2 versions of him.
I thought he was gonna be a Titan, and then he was a little tiny guy.
Yeah.
Well, he was a little tiny guy to start off with. I don't think he would have grown well.
I know,
Yeah.
but my brain was like, when I saw the first animation, I guess I just assumed he was a Titan for some reason.
I'm planning to make him a Titan in House Legacy.
Cool.
Cool.
Is there anything, any other like complaints or standout things you guys want to talk about with the movie?
Okay, so there is one thing that really bothered me when I was watching it. But like, so real quick, I want to go over my thoughts. I have a ton of nostalgia for this movie, and like, it made me really happy to watch it. And I do think it's a pretty good movie for the most part. There's this one thing in the movie that really bothers me.
Yes?
It's like it happens with Tahu, Takanuva, Kopaka. So they have swords and staves and stuff like that. And when they pull them out, they just appear out of nowhere, and then like expand.
Oh yeah.
Like
That's kind of how it's always happened. Really.
Tahu pulls his out when he's talking about no one will break through Takoro or whatever. And then like he pulls them out and they're kind of small and then they grow as he's like flipping them or whatever.
Oh what?
Oh, I never noticed that.
Like
That was
he pulls his out when he's going to face Makuta and it just comes out of nowhere.
yeah. Where are they pulling those swords out of, man?
I think they just kind of materialize.
I would say
I
that
feel like budget.
I think it's just
a
plot hole.
decision not to put them on their backs or something.
Yeah.
I think it was just kind of like, I mean, I think that was just sort of like they didn't want to have the Toa just carrying around their weapons or something.
Yeah.
But I thought it worked that they had their weapons on their backs and Journey to 1. Like it's so much simpler, and I thought it looked really cool most of the time.
Yeah, it does, but it honestly didn't really bother me. I was just kind of like, okay, I know the animation quality in this movie isn't that good.
That's
so
what I was-
I'm just gonna forgive it.
That's what I was going to talk about when you mentioned the animation. I forgot to mention the animation in this movie does not hold up at all.
No,
Like-
I
There are some things that are better than others, but for the most part, there's a lot of either weird choices or just oversaw things, like the weapons or like their masks flapping in the wind, which is gross. I know they're organic, but it's still gross.
Look at that.
They're
Tahu was on talking to his back when they're going down the lava falls, and Tahu's cheeks were like flapping. I was
Oh,
like,
that's so-
I was like, what in the world?
and
Yeah, because their masks are not organic.
they kind of are. I thought the Nuva masks were organic.
They are?
The-
thought they were inorganic.
But there's
Nike
also-
masks are, but
That
There's
was the funniest thing I saw in the whole movie. I was like, oh my god.
just like flapping in the wind.
I used flight.
But like one of there was also
I do
like
think
sorry.
English holds up like way better though.
I don't know.
I think you're being a little harsh, honestly.
Well, there's so much
think-
clipping in it though. There's so much clipping. Like you don't pay attention to it.
Jollar is a Makuta because
Okay, but
What?
think about this. For
That's
something that
manipulation.
came out 2003, I think it was,
Yep.
with such a little budget and came out direct to DVD. I think it came out way better than you're making it.
Well, no. I agree. Like it was good for what it was, but it doesn't hold
Yeah.
up. Like I understand they did the best
It's
what they had.
enjoyable if you just don't think about it.
Yeah, I know. Like it's not too bad to the point where it's unwatchable or anything, but there's just a lot of it are just little annoyances that just kind of end up adding up for me. Like the ground is like flat in like it looks like Minecraft almost when they're in the jungle.
Kind of. At
But
least they had shading and textures.
Yeah.
mhm.
It definitely improved with Metro Nui and Web of Shadows and definitely
yes.
Legend Reborn.
I think if you pay attention to Mask of Light though, the textures are really good, especially if you can get a good quality version.
I think
yes.
I think the textures on the characters are good, but not on the scenery.
Really?
Yeah,
Well, maybe on the ground it'd be a little bit arguably because it's like the same texture throughout, without differing textures. So you
Yeah,
can't
it's-
tell.
no one's gonna be looking at the ground and they're like, oh man, this is the best
Yeah,
one. This is my
the
favorite
focus-
part.
I know.
Focus, especially with such a little budget, is the characters.
I know,
Yeah.
but it isn't very good.
But like the fact that they flushed out such big scenes with as little budget as they did, like when Gali first finds the Rakshi, it shows a pretty big area.
Yeah, that's a good
That's
point.
impressive.
Yeah.
They do have pretty big set pieces.
Set
That's
or whatever.
they do a really good job within the old Bionicle movies. They have really good set pieces, especially in Metro Nui and Web of Shadows.
Oh yeah, definitely. But there's one thing that I really want to mention real quick. I
Mhm.
looked really closely on like on the torsos of Jala and Takua. I noticed that there are markings very similar to those of the G2 language, basically.
Really?
Like
That's one
the
thing.
runes
No,
that you
it's
normally
not-
see in
I
the
don't. That's one thing I want to mention. I don't like that the Matoran have ab sacks. That's gross.
Yeah,
Look, I wasn't
but
gonna.
I did notice like halfway through the movie that Takua's armor and Jala's armor are different, and Takua has like runes on his. I don't think they're very similar to the G2 writing at all, but
I didn't.
they
notice that.
are like interesting.
I was just too I was just looking at their weird beer bellies the whole time. I couldn't really pay attention to that stuff. Like what if you get punched in the stomach? That's gonna hurt, dude.
I don't think they get punched in the stomach often.
I don't know, man, but it's always rubbing up against stuff. Like, that's your stomach, dude. I don't know. That'd be like they have like a bunch of rashes on there. It's gross. It's nasty.
Well, if they were like designed with it, I don't think it would cause much of a problem.
I did notice something else. In the movie, the bow rock, you barely get to see them, but they are like way more accurate to the sets than the rest of the characters are.
They're organic. That's one thing. That's a complaint. I don't like that the Borak have organics and that the Rakshi have organics. That's non-canonical. They're robots.
Don't have any organics on them.
They do. If you look at them closely, they have some organic parts.
They're frozen solid.
And they look exactly like the sets for the most part.
You can look at the scene. They have organics on them. They're like in between the joints.
I didn't even look that close because
I can't click or it's gonna stop recording. So, but yeah, trust me. There's like, you know how like some of the joints, or you know how like Bionicle joints have got like the axle and a ball joint at the end, and then in the movies those usually have organics wrapped around it. They kind of have that on the Borak and the Rakshi, and that's like really annoying because they're not supposed to.
Oh well, could just like add a little something to it, make it a little less like the sets. I guess that was their excuse.
I mean, unless most cybernetic, mostly cybernetic, beings or creations usually just have a little bit of like are slightly biomechanical. Just I don't know.
But in canon, the Borak and the Rakshi are robots 100%.
Yeah, I mean, maybe like, with artificial intelligence and whatnot, but who's to say that they don't have any they don't have organics within them?
Well, I mean, they make like the Boxor and stuff, and I mean, that'd be pretty nasty if you're trying to rip organics apart and stuff. I think the intention was that they're supposed to be 100% mechanical. Because then, if they're biomechanical, then why are you even saying they're robots? Because so everybody else is biomechanical. So it's kind of like defeats the purpose of calling them robots.
Yeah, the Borak were made out of the remnants of dead Avmatoran, so like the metal parts. The Rakshi were metal suits for the Krata.
That were made from other Krata, apparently.
Yeah.
That's weird.
You put a Krata into Energized Protodermis and you get a Rakshi suit, and then you need another Krata.
What the heck?
And then you need a Krata of its respective type. Like the armor and the Krata need to be of the same type, and then it inhabits.
It can be controlled, and then it can be living.
Now I'm just imagining like the Krata like splitting up into a million little pieces and like having its organics wrapped around. Yeah, that's gross.
It's like Krataception.
Anyway, but the same problem occurs with the Vaki. The Vaki also have organics in Metro Nui, and I know we should talk about that right now, but that also really annoyed me.
Yeah, we'll talk about that next week.
Yeah, when you get into Metro Nui, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, okay. Weird.
Any dialogue that stuck out?
Yes, all of Akama's dialogue.
But I think now we should focus a bit on what we thought was good about Mask of Light.
Yeah,
since we've been bashing on it for
like I said, overall the like up until the ending, I actually was enjoying it. Like I'm just pointing out little nitpicky things. There was no major problems until the ending for me. So pretty much everything up to the ending, I generally like.
I like the world building that it actually introduced to Bionicle, where you could actually where we find it like this was the first time one of the first times that anyone really had a visual of what the island of Matanui looked like, and it actually,
Yeah,
and
that's one. I wish
the first time we got. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I wish they never actually show any wide shots of the entire island, and that kind of bothered me. I just wish, and it's a really big nitpick, but just one shot circling over the island would have been so cool to see Matanui like actually animated and stuff. Like I said.
Well, you kind of get to see it in Legend Reborn for a brief second.
Well, technically, we did see it in the opening cutscene with Vakama's narration when the
but you didn't see the
spread
details.
The outline of the island of Matanui.
No.
But that's just an outline like carved in stone.
Yeah, I know. I was joking.
I was kind of bummed that it didn't show some of the villages and regions. It was a bit disappointing.
I got that, but I feel like if they would have done that, it would have been moving from location to location really quickly, and it kind of would have felt pretty disjointed.
Yeah.
But then
I'd like to see more
again, they
from
do
it.
they do spend like 10 minutes inside of a cave, which was like, okay, you could have gone somewhere else there, more interesting.
Yeah, but you know what really ticks me off though?
What?
We didn't see the village of Kokoro at all.
Oh yeah, I
Saw
just
the
showed the gate entrance. It's like a teaser.
Isn't this
Saw the
supposed to be like our
saw
positive
every-
segment that we like about it?
Yeah, guys, stop being so negative. Sheesh.
Well, I'm gonna
Sorry.
get this. I'm gonna get this out of the way, and then we can start. And then I'm gonna start talking about positive stuff. But what really ticked me off was that we didn't see. We saw the entrance of Kokoro. We saw the surrounding area of the entrance, like to the entrance, but we just didn't see the actual village itself, and that was kind of disappointing.
Yeah, it was a teaser.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
Another really good thing that this movie did for like the Bionicle community especially was it gave us our first glimpse of like what the Toa would sound like. Because before we
yeah.
had no idea what voices they would have, or like Taraga or Takua or Vakama or Takua or Jala or anyone. Like it put that in our head, so we had something to associate with them.
Yeah, and they did a really good job at making the voices, most of them, save for Liwa, sound like how you would imagine them. Like Kopaka is spot on. He's
Yes.
so good. Like that is exactly.
He was really good too.
Tahu was really good too. And Gali was pretty decent. Onua, I really like Onua. He was kind of more jolly, but he did a really good job. And Pohatu was also perfect. I love Pohatu's voice in the movie.
Yeah,
He's just
that-
so
that was
jolly.
that was great.
I think
Brother! What?
I think Liwa's voice fit,
Oh yeah,
especially compared
no.
to the other Toa.
Kind of light and hippie.
No, I think I don't. Liwa's character was not the same Liwa from the books. Like he wasn't a jokester in this. He was much more noble. But I liked his voice. I'm just saying. I feel like it wasn't what most people imagined it being.
Well, it was a more mature Liwa.
Yeah, I guess.
I think it works better than what most people probably would have imagined, though.
I don't know. I think I could go. I just feel like this one. Well, this one fits for little Liwa in this movie, who's doesn't make any jokes. He's more mature. He's more like.
Prefer LJ goes and dubs it
No.
for you?
Here, I'm about to say something smart. Like I said, the Liwa in this movie, he isn't very much like the actual like books, since he doesn't make jokes. He's not like a daredevil. He's not irresponsible. He's much more noble, and the voice here really fit that. But for the books, who's really jokester, he's really daredevil and really carefree. A different voice like I'm trying to think of we haven't heard very many Liwa voices, but one not like Journey to One, but more playful and younger. I think would fit the book version. But for the version they're doing in this movie, I think the voice they chose fit pretty well.
I think one excuse for Liwa's more serious tone, I guess, in the Mask of Light movie, where he's less of a jokester and everything, would be that up until this point he's learned a lot. And,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in
Like,
the
there
book,
was-
but in the books, he's still a jokester in the new form. Like he's still sarcastic. Like that's just his character. That's like a character trait.
Okay, but like one could say that by that point, I don't know. he
It's just,
decided
but
to-
it's just like it would be like, oh, he's turned into a completely different person if he doesn't grow out of being, because even in like the final books, he's still a jokester and still playful and stuff like that. He's just not as irresponsible. But in this movie, it's like it just doesn't make sense for him to completely lose all of his key characteristics. Like he's a lot more like Pohatu in this.
Well, maybe off screen he had a bunch of jokester moments.
Maybe-
I mean, it
Oh,
only
yeah,
showed
sure.
Some scenes.
To be, maybe. But I'm just
And I
saying
feel
that
like half of the time we see Liwa in this movie, it's it's heavier stuff.
yeah, but
Yeah.
and for the
Like, 'cause
for
he's
the
being
lines.
serious for the situation
Yeah,
because
and-
it's serious situations.
Yeah, and like I said, for the lines he had in that kind of perspective, not making jokes, the voice fit very well.
Like
Well, like-
that was always Liwa to me growing up. So
Well, to me, Liwa didn't have a voice because I didn't watch this movie until I was like way older. But like in the books and stuff, when I read him, I imagine him sounding a little more younger and nasally.
the movies were my only story resource for a while.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, see,
But,
actually,
Like
if-
Matau's voice is a really good. That's kind of how I imagined Liwa's voice when I was like reading it and looking at the comic books and stuff.
I think it works better with Matau though.
Well, Matau and Liwa in the books are like the same character. I'm not joking though. They are pretty much the same character.
Which would not be very appealing for especially for the movies.
Well, they didn't know though they didn't know when they wrote
Yeah.
this Liwa that they're going to do Metro Nui.
But I think it was a wiser choice to have Liwa be different, especially if Matau was going to fill that role.
Well, they didn't know they were going to do Mattel like that though when they made the movie.
I know. I'm just saying, like it works better.
I guess.
Yeah. So Niretta, you were gonna say something?
Before Thatch rudely interrupted.
I was gonna say during the end Rakshi battle, Leo started making a little bit of quips.
You did?
Well, with like the seer was like sand and fire makes glass.
That was more.
Yeah,
That was more of a
I
statement.
didn't like that Liwa used sand. No, because they were saying what they were doing. But like I think Kohatu should have been the one to do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
True. It's like they went all anime and announced their attacks before they did them.
Yeah, that was.
Fire strike.
I thought that I always saw that as more of like they were mocking the Rakshi at that point.
I think they were doing it because it's a kids movie and it makes it more fun.
Yeah.
Well, but I reject your reality and substitute my own.
Okay. It should be on a shirt, which is with a picture of Kasai. I reject your reality and substitute it with my own. All right. We've been talking about this movie for like a really long time. I think we should wrap it up here and talk about
Who knows how this next section's gonna how long this next section's gonna take.
Yeah, so let's do this next section. Toko, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Can you give a brief statement of what you thought of the movie, real quick?
I liked it a lot. I would say, out of all four of the movies, it does have a special place in my heart, but I would have to say it's my third favorite out of all of them. It's just, actually, I would say my least favorite.
Yeah,
Really?
I wonder which one takes least favorite on your list.
Should we give it a score to? Should we give a score to 10 and then make that kind of be like the bookend for this?
If I were to rate it, I'll give it a 7 out of 10. The story was pretty good. I liked the whole plot. It gave me the whole Lord of the Rings vibe.
Yeah.
Two midgets.
The quest.
Two midgets,
Yeah,
a plot
having
device,
a golden relic.
and ring wraiths.
Yep.
Yeah, I was like, I remember seeing that. I was like, I've been a big Lord of the Rings fan for pretty much all my life, and seeing that, I'm like, huh. I think for copying off of J.R.R. Tolkien, but still, it's really cool. I thought it was a good movie. Not the best, but I like the Movie movies better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
Who
right.
wants to give their
You
rating?
can go next, Kasai.
Okay. I would rate it a 9 out of 10. I think.
Wow. All right. Narita, what do you think?
Yeah, I think about 8 or 9 out of 10.
Vanu?
It was pretty good.
6 or 7.
I'd say about sorry, you go.
Like for when I was watching it again, like earlier this week, I found it kind of hard to watch, just a little bit, because I was only
Don't be a
only
bully,
see-
Vanu.
What?
Don't be a bully, Vanu.
Well, I can't help it if I didn't like it that much. I mean, I really tried to, I was pointing out everything good about it, or rather, while I was watching it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it just kind of made me want to watch, other the other movies, Legends of Metro Nui and Web of Shadows. But
Yeah.
it was a good
can't wait
movie.
to start watching the other ones.
Yeah, Metro
Oh,
Nui is
yeah.
awesome. So I'm pretty much on the same level as Vanu. It was kind of hard to watch. Definitely for me, it didn't age very well. But for a kids movie, that's straight DVD. It's pretty good. So I think if I had to rate it though, general rating consensus with every other movie, I'd probably give it a 5 or a 6 out of 10.
Oh.
It's not Pixar level. And I think that a 9 out of 10. I think a 9 out of 10 would be like a Pixar movie, and I think this is more of a 5. It's a good time to watch, and it's decent for the Bionicle community.
Yeah, and it's Lego's first. It was Lego's first time, I think, trying to make
Cinematic.
an actual movie.
Yeah, and they definitely learned from it in the next one, but that's next week.
Oh yeah, definitely.
All right, so you guys want to go into the stories and everything? Who's first?
I think it's
Me, because mine is
Toa Okoto.
very.
Yep.
I'd say I was gonna say mine because mine is kind of uninteresting.
All right. So random story time. Go with Vanu.
All right. So there I was, a normal day at work. I was putting carts away at my local grocery store. And then suddenly, a black and yellow beast landed on my leg. It stared up at me, its 1,000 eyes gleaming in the sunlight. I'll cut the dramatics now. So a bee just landed on my leg. I was petrified because I have a fear of insects. Ironic, considering a lot of my Mocs look like insects. Kill me. Anyway, so there was
Like crawlers.
yep,
The moth.
Mothman. So and so I just kind of stood there. I mean, if there's one good thing that came out of it, it gave me a good excuse to stand outside and do nothing instead of do my job. But,
I'm just picturing you like frozen with your arms out, and like your boss just looks out the window and is like, "What the heck is he doing out there?"
I'm so glad that I was just like in the parking lot that far out because no one could see me. And okay, so the ending of this story is just like kind of embarrassing. But I was standing out there, and I was just waiting for it to leave. But I just stood absolutely still. One would have mistaken me for a statue had I been completely gray. But it was just standing there, and it was cleaning itself off, and it took its time doing it too. So, like, I knew for a fact because I watch a lot of documentaries. Don't know why, especially on insects for some reason. But
Doesn't make any sense.
Ironic.
like they fascinate me, but they also just scare the crap out of me too. I don't know, but I was just standing
Weird.
there. Like I knew that just bumblebees. Some have stingers, some don't. I know that the females and the queens and the queens do. But this wasn't a bumblebee, so I knew well to stand absolutely still because every single one of them have stingers. So as I was just standing there, a wasp was drawing near.
Oh.
And those particularly scare me a lot more than bees do because they can
They're
sting
mean.
me as many times as they want.
Oh
Like
boy.
they're not going to just sting me once and then, the stinger is taken out because, it just gets lodged,
Right.
I'm not gonna get into details. Anyway, so a wasp was drawing near, and it actually flew past my leg, and I was just terrified. And then a customer, came walking by, and I was like, "Hey, how are you?" and basically because I was just kind of like, okay, I know if I do anything, the bee is just gonna sting me. I was just kind of like, I can't do anything, sir. Can you help me out? There's a bee on my leg. I need to get back to work. I don't get paid for nothing, So basically, so he was just like, what? It's just a bee. I'm like, it could sting you if you did anything. It was like, no, I can get it off. Watch, and he just smacks it, and I'm like, what? I was really confused.
And it was at that moment that Vanu's life flashed before his eyes.
Exactly. No, not that. But I was a part of me was thinking that it was gonna fly back to me, sting me, and yeah, and
Shows you.
That's the end of the story. Customers are heroes. Save your life from bees.
The
Yep.
customer is always right, Vanu.
That man was a hero. He will never be
Yes.
forgotten.
you saved my life.
All right, Toa Okoto.
Still.
So-
Yes.
You want to give your story?
Yeah. I don't know if I should put this story out in the public, but
Just don't name any specific names or anything.
no, I won't. I'll just say guy 1 and guy 2. That's all I'll do. So me
Freddie
and
and Bob.
This happened, I believe, Tuesday. Yeah, it was Tuesday. Normal lunch. My cafeteria is super loud all the time. Cafeteria ladies yelling and such, and kids screaming, and sometimes throwing food. It's very, that's my school. And so me and my friends were sitting there, and all of a sudden, there's kids yelling like louder than usual, like oh, and everyone, and I look over, is I'm able to see 2 kids having their fist up, throwing punches at each other. And while my other friends, they're looking overhead to turn around, and everyone starts standing up for some apparent reason, and I'm watching this, and they're like, I don't know the 2 kids exactly, but they're in my grade, and so they were throwing fists at each other, and one of the let's say call them guy 1 and guy 2. So guy 1, I believe what started the fight is that guy 1 put a middle finger up to guy 2. And so guy 2 got mad and started swinging fists at him, and they got up and started fighting. And so guy 2 picked up guy 1 and threw him on the ground. Like, he picked him up. And then, guy 2 he's about the same size as guy 1. And I didn't think guy 2 would have the strength in him. But, yes, they threw him down. What really got my, I didn't get my attention when kids were like being loud. It was my teacher, like how like one of our teachers from like classes on lunch duty, and when he was like he's uber loud sometimes, like with his voice, he has a powerful voice, and I got spooked. I was like, holy crap, what's going on? And I see the kids, like, I saw him go down. It was like a pow. It was so loud, and like they had like get like I think I had 4 teachers to get guy 1 and like 5 to get guy 2, because guy 2 was like mainly the one that was fighting
Oh my word.
fighting him. And so they had to get back, and then that's pretty much it. I mean, everyone wouldn't calm down for the rest of lunch, and there were kids screaming in the hallway, and I think another fight happened after school.
Jeez.
But
Wow.
I think it was like 6th grade.
Wow.
Dude, freaking kids these days. Are insane.
Oh yeah.
Reminds me of my high school.
Oh man.
Well, you heard it here first, folks. Toa Okoto has witnessed a Marvel movie take place right before his eyes.
Toa Okoto is a second he's a background character in Spider-Man Homecoming. Wow.
I'm pretty used to it, to be honest.
Just
Like, this is the norm for you.
Yeah, no, it is, but it hasn't happened in the cafeteria yet.
wow.
So
Huh.
yeah.
Interesting.
Wow, jeez. Stuff went down there, man. Holy smokes.
I was laughing the whole entire time.
I thought it was hilarious.
Wow.
He broke his wrist.
Yeah, these guys are squaring up and like, this fight doesn't like punch each other already. I came here to eat my lunch and watch a fight, so why not?
I came here to see blood. Where's the blood?
Where's the blood? Show me some broken teeth. Whatever, broken. Yeah, you get the.
You guys are a bunch of wusses. Start killing each other.
Yeah,
Oh my word.
throws
That is
popcorn.
Where's the
not
blood? I brought
needed.
my special mug today.
Oh man.
Yeah, I went there, guys.
Yeah, someone throws a mug. Jesus, you know what that is? Yeah, it's glass, man. Come on, fight.
No, don't fight. Just pick it up.
They're sword fighting with
Just
plastic.
hug it out, guys. Hug
with
it out.
plastic
Yeah,
knives.
pick it
No, they do like Hulk does on Thor.
The great weapon in this world is peace.
So yeah, that's my
Peace.
story.
Wow.
Awesome. That was.
Yeah,
Quite
That's a
interesting.
little door into my life.
That explains a lot. All right, guys. So, I think that brings us to the end of the podcast here.
Hey.
You want to sign out, Kasai?
Wait, can I say one thing?
Yeah, sure.
No.
Oh man, I've been waiting this whole podcast to do that.
That's
Sorry about that,
fine.
everyone. Excuse me.
Let's sign out. Let's sign out now.
Thatch is
Uh,
like,
So thank you for joining us for episode 2 of the Hapori Podcast. It was a lot of fun. Thank you guys for being on.
No problem.
No problem.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
yeah, comment
Please
below.
like, comment, or subscribe.
Yeah,
I want to get 15,000 likes!
Okay. Are you my brother now? Calm down.
Guys, comment below what you thought about the Mask of Light movie and other topics.
Yeah. Just post your thoughts down in the comments below on whatever
like-
topics we're talking.
How do you recommend Vanu to get rid of bees?
Carry bug spray on you at all times.
Have a fly swatter in a holster.
You need a 45 Magnum.
That's some life advice.
What is this?
Ron.
Walking Dead?
I need to
All right,
wear
everyone.
a bulletproof suit.
Thank you for watching. We'll see you guys in the next one.